My name is Mad Skills, and you are now tuned into the Spark Something podcast. And right here, I want you guys to be the best version of yourself. I want you to live out the life that God is calling you to live out, because there'll never be another you. And no one else can do it the way that you can do it. Not with the flavor God has given you. So with that being said, welcome to the show. Let's go. Yo guys, what's going on? It's your girl Mad Skills. Welcome to another episode of the Spark Something podcast. Thank you guys for joining me. I know that it's been a minute. I think the last time I dropped an episode was in May. I think it was May 18th or something like that. The middle of May, beginning of May was the last time I dropped an episode. And I went on this crazy hiatus. I know it's been a minute. So much has changed at the same time. But while I was on this hiatus, and even still, I don't know, I know God has been definitely working in me and through me, and my spiritual life has definitely grown. I've grown spiritually and mentally. I changed jobs just in the past, since the last time you guys have heard from me. I'm growing and I'm learning how to be better for myself and better for the people that I have around me. The scripture, be still and know that I am God. That's one of the scriptures that I remember reading during COVID. And it sticks out so much to me now because I've been MIA from the podcast. I've thought about it every single day since. And I had to realize that even though I started a podcast, I was making music, I'm dancing, I'm creating a brand, a clothing brand. I realized that in doing all of this, even though I was doing it unto God, God still cared about my rest. He cared so much about my rest that he was like, I have to sit you down if you don't sit down on your own. And I didn't really understand why he halted everything. And then he had to really show me what I was doing. So growing up, I used to be a people pleaser, and I've talked about it a lot on this platform. But people pleasing was a thing for me, and I would overextend myself, and that spilled over into my teenage years, into my adult years, and even recently. And there's a moment that I had just this week, because this is a week before Thanksgiving, so I'm gonna drop this during the week of Thanksgiving. But a moment that I had with my best friend today, Dre. I was talking to her on the phone this morning, and she told me, she was like, "Friend, I've never heard you break down the way that you did." I let out a cry from the depths of my soul, is what she said. And I knew what she was talking about. And it was just a week of being burdened and just being tired and just dealing with the reality that I have some relationships that I've overextended myself in. And because the relationships didn't work out the way that I hoped they would, or certain things didn't work out the way that I hoped it would, or my life didn't turn out the way that I hoped it would, I felt like a failure. And I always stayed busy doing something, whether it was doing this podcast, it was rapping, creating music, it was getting in the studio, it was dancing, something. I always tried to remain creative so that I wouldn't actually have to deal with my reality. And I can't speak for everybody else. I can only speak for me. It's in the last couple months since the last time I dropped an episode, I have been going through the ups and downs of really dealing with and having to sit in solitude and having to really deal with the reality that I needed to be still. Being still is probably one of the hardest things for me because everything comes to the surface. Everything. And it's like I've always had this thought process that okay, if I can just get through, if I can just, get past this, then I'll be good. And God was like, not this time. This time we're not just going to get past this moment. We're not going to just get past your entire life. We're not just going to get past this pain. We're not just going to get past this thought of feeling like a failure. We're not just going to smooth over this thing of feeling however you feel, the negative thoughts, the intrusive thoughts that you have. We're not just going to just get past this. I'm not creating you just to get over it. I'm creating you to go through it because in you going through it, there's something on the other side of you going through. But in order for you to go through it, I need you to sit in it. And I was like, dang. So I've been sitting in it, y'all, since like May. I've been sitting in it and I've been seeing the good, the bad, the ugly, the bold and the beautiful parts of myself. I've been seeing people. God has been showing me just as I'm transitioning how to maneuver through hurt and maneuver through pain and I'm still learning to release people and let them go and to to not always hold on to offense, because believe it or not, the one thing that I've learned just in the past couple months, the enemy, the devil himself, thrives off of our offenses. It can be something so small, but if that small offense, and it can, I'm not saying all offenses are small, I'm not going to belittle anybody's, emotions, but it can be something that's like so small. That one small offense can ruin your entire day. Your entire day can be ruined because of the offense. And you don't want that, or you don't even need that, because God is trying to do something so profound in you, and God has been trying to do something so profound in me that I can't dwell in my offense, because that leaves room and that leaves an open door for the enemy to come in. So instead of me dwelling in my offense, God said, be still. I need you to sit in this, because the longer you sit in it, the more uncomfortable you will become. And then you will have no choice but to look to me. And when you look to me and you hand this thing over to me, I need you to leave it at my feet or leave it in my hands. I need you to leave it to me and no longer pick this thing up, because there are certain burdens that a lot of us have been carrying that we are not called to carry. There are a lot of things that we have picked up and put down and picked up and put down. And God said, if you don't leave it there, you will not be able to move from this spot. I was having a conversation with God a couple of days ago, and He literally was explaining that to me. He said, if you keep picking this offense up, I don't have to tell you guys what the offense is. Um, but it doesn't even matter what it is. But if you keep picking up the offense, because I don't want to, the reasons why I say it doesn't matter is because I don't want people to be like, oh, well, that's small, or oh, that's big. That really, like, he gets it. It bothered you, it crippled you, it hurt you. But at the same time, God is literally calling us from out of that place of offense. And He's saying, give those offenses to me. He's not saying that how you feel isn't valid. He's not saying that He doesn't care about your feelings or your emotions. He loves you and He gave you those feelings and those emotions and those desires. What He is saying is, I can do with them what you can't. I can show you that this needed to happen. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. A lot of people are angry and they're mad, or they were angry and mad with Judas, and they like, yo, How Judas do Jesus like that? And Jesus knew. That's the part that a lot of people don't get. Is Christ knew who Judas was. He knew him at his core. He knew all of them at their core. And he still chose him. And he knew before he chose Judas that he was going to betray him. And a lot of people, it doesn't register to them, but Judas was actually needed in the story. Like he needed to betray Christ. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't have died for our sins. He needed to betray Christ. He was an intricate part of the story. And what I'm trying to say is the betrayal, the hurt, the the gaslighting, all of that, like it was needed to birth something out of you. And it hurt and it bothered you. And I'm saying this from God dealing with me in my hurt, my betrayal, the things that bothered me, the things that hurt me, the things that broke me, the things that shattered me, the things that I haven't been able to get over because I haven't sat in this. I haven't sat in, and I wasn't still in knowing that he is God. I wasn't still in understanding that God can do better with these things than I can. Because if I spend my entire life holding on to who should have done this to me, or who shouldn't have done that to me, or who should have been there for this and who shouldn't have been there for that, you can have a whole list, a whole list. But if you go, and I believe it's in Second Corinthians chapter 13, where it talks about love, and one of those verses, it says love holds no offense. And I'm speaking to you on this level, not as a person who is an expert, but as a person who has to make the decision every day that love holds no offense. And I don't get it right every day. I don't get it right every single day. I am struggling with that love holds no offense, because it's easier for me to hold the offense. It's easier for me to hold the light up on someone else that has wronged me than for God to shed light on the things that I've done wrong to him. It's easier for me to see the plank in my brother's eye than to take it out of my own. It's easier for me to do that. I had a conversation, and I always, when God gave me this revelation and he dropped this thing on me, it changed the trajectory of how I look at relationships and how I viewed my marriage, because this is where he gave it to me. God will minister to you in your marriage, okay? Marriage is a whole ministry. That's why it's not that easy. Marriage is a whole ministry that a lot of people don't think that it's ministry, but it is. So I was having this conversation with Anthony, and he made this statement, and I might have spoke about it on here, but I feel like it was such a good revelation that I need to address it again. So, and we're still talking about being still and knowing that he's God, but I'm giving you all the scenarios and everything and the stories, and I'm gonna bring it all home. But we were having a conversation, me and Anthony, and it was not the most pleasant conversation. We weren't arguing with each other, but we were disagreeing. And in this disagreement, I remember Anthony making the comment. He was like, "Yo, you don't see what you doing? Like, why do you do that? Like, why do you act like that? Why are you like this?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yo, you're not finna sit here and play and pretend and play this game like you don't know what I'm talking about." And as he was talking, I got quiet. I got quiet because I didn't know what he was talking about. And a lot of you guys may think like, "Oh, you knew, yada yada yada. Y'all disagree. You knew what that man was talking about." But this is what God said to me. He literally said, "You don't see yourself the way he sees you. You don't see yourself the way anyone in your life sees you. And he doesn't see himself the way you see him. That's why you're with him, and that's why he's with you. That's why I have put this thing together for you guys to help each other to see each other a certain way, so that the way you guys see each other can help each other to grow. Because nobody really wants to be like, yo, do I really? And it's so hard when God shows you you, because you can't turn it off. You can't turn it off. And I had to say to him, I said, you know what? I don't see myself the way you see me. And you don't see yourself the way that I see you. But I was like, if I am doing something, and I was really sincere because I love him for real. But I was like, if I am doing something that is affecting you in a negative or a positive way or any kind of way in general, you have to tell me. If you don't say anything, I don't know how you feel. And the same thing goes vice versa. If he's affecting me in some way, shape, form, or fashion, if I don't say anything, then he will never know. If there's something that is happening, and this isn't just in marital relationships, this is in all type of relationships, this is even in work relationships. Certain people, they don't see themselves the way you see them. But if you see something that is hindering them, because that was a hindrance for our relationship, that was a big hindrance, that something that I was doing or something that I was saying, or just no one has ever, I was like, no one has ever brought this to my attention. Because no one has ever brought it to my attention, I've never thought about working on it. But for you, I will work on it. But you have to let me know, if that makes sense. And I had to literally sit in that. And I had to be still in that and listen to him say, this is what I have a problem with. A lot of women can't do that. A lot of men can't do that. A lot of people can't do that. I'm saying that like we not people. But either way, a lot of people can't do that. But when you care about someone, when you love a person, you will listen to them tell you the things that affect them that you are doing, the things that are hurting them that you are doing that no one may not have ever said. And it wasn't that the people who've never brought it up to you doesn't love you. It's just that the person that you're lifing with, my cousin, my cousin was talking to me about that. The person that you're lifing with sees you on a different level. Someone that sees you on a daily, they see you on a different level than everybody else. So they can see your little quirks and your little small little tweaks and certain things that you do that nobody else sees, and they see the good, the bad, the ugly parts of you. And with them, because of love, because Christ loved us so much, he is willing to say, hey, let me shine a light on this thing that you're holding on to, just so that it can be revealed. Because if something is revealed, it's going to be hard for you to continue to cover it up. It really is. So, in the last 6 months, if I can be honest, I've been sitting and being still, and I've been in solitary, and it's been hard, y'all. I'm not going to front, because this is something that has needed to happen for years. I don't hear a whole lot of negative voices. I haven't been on social media. I haven't been around people like that. If I am around people, it's around people that I trust, especially in the season that I'm in, because the season that I'm in is so vital, and I've been so vulnerable in this season because I'm growing and learning. I feel like a baby all over again. Like I feel like I'm learning to walk and talk. Like I was talking to my friend Drea, and I was telling her, I was like, I have a hard time sometimes expressing myself because I'm not trying to be perfect, but I'm trying to make sure that what I say is understood. Because for so long, I've been misunderstood. For so long, it's been so difficult to say how I feel and to express things, and people actually don't try to belittle the things that I'm saying, but they actually like say, okay, I'm gonna work on that. But after a while, if you're around people that are offended by your light shining, like, bro, you're gonna need to move around, because eventually it's not going to be the person's fault. It's going to be yours. And that's the reality that I've been having to sit in, is I can't blame everybody else. I can only blame myself for being there for so long, because I should have been left. Or I could have been let them go. But because I've always had a hard time with letting people go, because I wanted everybody around me to know what love feels like, because I didn't, not all the time. I wanted everybody around me to be happy, because I wasn't, not all the time. And I knew what the opposite felt like. So because I knew what sadness felt like, I felt like I needed to be the happiness in the room. And then I was, man, my friend, I love the people that God has put in my life. My friend Dre was talking to me this morning, and she was like, sometimes, friend, but like, we have to get out of the way. Like, we have to get out of the way and allow God to be God. And she's like, you've been carrying a lot of people's burdens, including your own. But now, like, you have to release these things and give them to God. She might not have said it that way, but that's how I took it. And we gonna vibe out like that. But it was profound, and it was something that I needed to hear. So just in the past, what, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, almost 6 months, about 6 months, yeah. So in the past 6 months, I have been being still. And this wasn't, this whole being still wasn't planned. Because if it was planned, I would have made an episode saying, yo, guys, I'm going to be out for a little while. I didn't, it was almost like COVID. Like, I didn't know if it was going to last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's been like 6 months. And just the growth of being alone, and the growth of maturity. And it's not something that you could just get over. God is like, I need you to go through this, because going through it is going to birth something out of you. Or going through it is going to cause you to have a rebirth, because mm, I have to say that for another episode. I was just about to talk about babies. I don't know nothing about I don't know nothing about birthing kids, but God literally just gave me the revelation, like, going through this is literally like giving birth. Like, it's literally like you being born again, or or who God is calling you to be in that season is going to be birthed through you going through the process, not you getting over it, but going through it. And it's been a beautiful journey. It's been hard, man. It's been a hard, long journey, because this didn't start in May, but it was like in May, God was like, no, before 2024 before 2024 starts and 2023 ends, I need you to be who I have called you to be, because there is something else that you need to be doing in 2024. I don't need you to be crying over the exact same thing you've been crying over in the last 10 years. I don't need you to be crying and holding people to a certain standard, and holding people hostage the way people have been held hostage the last 5, 6 years. I need you to release them. I need you to be released and let it go, so that I can actually bring the people into your life that I have called you to. I know that it hurt. I know that it didn't feel good. I know that they mishandled you. And to be honest, you mishandled you. I mishandled me. And I can talk about it like that because it's true. We have mishandled ourselves, and we're angry because we've had people that have mishandled us. They have literally treated us the way we treat ourselves. And if you don't handle you with care, you can't expect other people to handle you with care. If you don't handle you with love, you can't expect other people to handle you with love. And if you're holding back on yourself, you are going to hold back in the relationships that God has called you to. And God is saying, no. This is what he said to me. No, I didn't call you to that. The next season, I need you to have come through this thing, because there are going to be other people that are coming behind you that they need to be able to see that there is someone that looks like them, that is called by me, that has come through this thing already, so that they can actually see that there's someone that's done it. And that's just where we at. So being still and knowing that God is not the easiest thing to do. I think that's why it's in the Bible. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it has to be done in order for us to become who God is calling us to become. So I'd say in the last 6 months, that's what's been going on. I'm hoping that helped anybody that was asking any questions. To everybody that continues to support the podcast, even though I've been MIA, I thank y'all. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And I prayed for y'all while I was MIA. I prayed that this podcast would continue to reach whoever it needed to, whoever God was calling to it. I don't know where God is taking me. I've always been so stuck on trying to make sure things were in place and make sure they were perfect, but I don't know where God is taking me. I have no idea. All I know is my purpose is wherever he goes, so will I. Um I love you guys dearly. I appreciate you guys so much for all the love, all the support, all of my peeps in the US. I'm saying like in the US, like I'm not in the US, but all of my peoples in the US, thank you guys so much for the love and the support. All of my people in the UK, thank you. I've never been to the UK, but one day, one freaking day, I hope to come and slide through. I need to see Jessie J. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a big fan, and I would love to see Jessie J. I don't know if she's in London still or not. Um, and then there's somewhere else. I can't remember where the other place is, but the next episode I'll shout you out. I apologize that I don't actually remember, but it's like 3 locations that it's really been popping. But thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. This has been your girl Mad Skills. This is another episode of the Spark Something podcast. And I hope this sparks something in your life. And I'm out. Peace, baby. Let's go.